Oh, Megan, nice catch.
It
Better
was
late than never.
Yeah,
our agenda, if you haven't noticed, don't ever try and print it because by now it's 30 pages long. It's just a rolling list of notes agenda. So it's a very interactive document. So we're happy to hyperlink it there if you send us a PDF. Okay, let's get into our activity for today, and it's Sharing Power Part 2. So before we go into Part 2, for those who were not here for Part 1, would anyone like to share sort of what we did last month, the personal reflection exercise on power? I could do it, but many of you were here. Don't all jump at once. Don't make me call on you either. Y'all are killing me. This is not a trick question. Thank you.
I can go.
I think Tamara was going to go.
I found my
notes.
I was looking for my notes.
We put a definition to power, saying that it is the ability to bring about change or changes circumstance. And then we compared areas in which we have power and feel as though we don't.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Exceptional summary. Yes. All right. So the kind of the theme was really centering on ourselves, where we feel like we have and we don't have power as individuals. But now we're going to talk about where we have and we don't have power as a group. So the Pueblo Food Project, where do we have and not have power? And then really what we're going to do with it. So right now you see on my screen a shared drive. And I'm going to drop the link to this in the chat. And it's the exact same presentation, just numbered 1 through 10, because you're either going to be in breakout number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. You get the idea. So I'll put this link in the chat. And then when your breakout room is together, someone or everyone, because anyone can edit the document, we'll go in and take some notes. And let me show you the questions that we're going to cover together. Give me a thumbs up if you're looking at a presentation now and not the folder. Okay. So the first set of questions, a mirror of our personal reflection, but now a reflection for the group, for the Pueblo Food Project. Where do we have power? Where don't we have power? So please capture your thoughts there in your conversation. And then, oops, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me move this. Then the next question really gets into sharing, because that's where we'd like to be. So what does sharing power look like, feel like, mean to you? And that could be you as an individual, you as the group. You know, how do we know when we're at the point of sharing power? It's definitely a journey. So you have, if you want to get rid of these boxes, get rid of the boxes. Feel free to explore and use the page as you see fit to capture your thoughts. But some ideas were text, maybe images, or something else. This is just an idea an opportunity to take a chance to really not only think about the logic of what it means to share power, but how does it feel? How do we know if we're actually doing that? And then the last question that I hope everyone will tackle is, how could we better share power in this group at PFP? Whether that's in the mega group setting, coalition wide, within these meetings, within our working group meetings, within the activities that we put forward, the way our decision-making framework is playing out. That's been kind of in work for at least a year now. So yeah, how could we better share power in the group? All right, any questions on those 3 prompts? And of course, you'll have them on your screen because I'm going to drop the link in the chat. All right, before Megan opens up the breakout rooms, someone test that link for me. Just see if you can open the link, and then once you're there, see if you can open any of the decks. They should all be open to you. So just need someone to do a couple of test drives. Getting some thumbs up. Cool, awesome. Okay, Megan, if you wouldn't mind opening the breakout rooms and creating a total of 10 rooms. So yeah, I don't know which arrow it is, but we want a total of 10 rooms. And for folks who would prefer to speak in Spanish for this session, stay in the main room. We'll have Diego here in the main room. All right, sounds like the rooms are open. We'll take about 15 minutes for this. Okay. Mark, are you here because you would like to participate in Spanish or because you have yet to join your room? Maybe, excuse me, Megan, maybe you can reassign Mark.
We have like one that has 1 person. Okay, now it has 2. We're good.
All right, you want to send, I would reassign Mark, and
He has to accept it. So I reassigned him.
okay,
He has to like accept it.
maybe for both the folks that are still, okay, yeah, still in the room. And let me see, in terms of participants, I'm not going to join. All right. Okay, let's keep these rooms open for, let me just check the agenda. Yeah. Let's give folks about, I would shut them at 9:25.
Okay.
So 10 minutes. And you can, if you haven't already, probably pause the recording.
So building power. We also talked about where we do not have power, and that was right as we got the meeting notification that we had 52 seconds left. So we didn't get in deep into it, but we said money, having it and what happens to it, the decisions about how money is spent is where that power is not. Benita or other group members, Teresa, and if I missed anything, chime in.
Nope, you did great.
All right, thank you for starting us off. Dylan, I see you have a hand up, then Velma.
Yeah, cool. So, you know, one of the ways that we spoke about the power that the coalition does have is in our unique and diverse sets of strengths. We all bring different things to the table, and that's one thing that makes this group so powerful. And then on the flip side, one of the areas where we don't have power is can be a lack of awareness. If people don't know what I can bring to the table, how are they or how is the group going to leverage that, and vice versa. That applies to everybody. So, you know, it's just this idea of getting to know each other and what we do and what we bring to the table a little more, you know, in depth. So that was, I'll keep it short. That was one of the things we spoke about.
Thank you. Yeah, really, really good points on how we get to know each other better to utilize the power that we do have. Velma, go for it.
I'm going to call out Brianna, and she has her notes, and she's relatively new to the group, so welcome to her.
Hello. Okay, so we discussed a couple different things. Mainly we focused on the where do we have power and where do we not have power. So some things we came up with is we have power amongst each other. So when we work together, we have power for that, power for change, and then power with partnerships that we create within our community and outside of our community. And some areas in which we don't have power are other people's opinions. So if they don't agree with the message or the actions we're trying to do, we can't control their thoughts about that. We can only do what we feel is right for people. We don't have power over government entities that may cause problems or red tape in the actions, and then circumstances and events that our community may not be able to get resources, like the pandemic is a great example of something we don't have power over. So those are the main things we talked about.
Ellie, you have a hand up.
Our group talked about mostly about the power within the group, as individuals within PFP, and how we all bring our ideas and our passions to the table when we see there's a need, and we say something to somebody else and within the group, and then to the higher ups in the group, like the council. And when we present those needs and there's discussion about it, then there's activity that starts happening to make it happen. And then also we talked about the power that PFP has within the community, and how we're actually all pushing to make PFP more known and more, and we all have such great access to people who are in power in the community. You know, the mayor, chief of staff, who they show up at our, well, when we used to all meet together, but sometimes they're in the Zoom meetings. So we know that we have access to those folks as a group to address issues where we need to make change or help our own community.
Where could we better share power? It's great to identify the haves and the have-nots, but ultimately we're working towards a path of liberation and justice and food equity for every eater in Pueblo. And if we're going to do that, we need to think about how we use our power and how we share it. So how can we better share power?
So can I answer that? I just think that as I've watched PFP function since we first started it, I think our power is in that we all work collectively to address needs. And then when we see the needs as a group, we approach the people who are in power or who have the money and the influence to help us meet the needs of people having food access. And that's kind of the broad picture that I've observed in the time that PFP has existed.
Other thoughts? How could we better share power? Kelly?
Thanks. I just want to second some of the things Ellie mentioned, that we have a great momentum power and the opportunities for collaboration, the connectivity to funding and influence, or inviting people into the grant writing processes We have a lot of good display of feminine leadership and involving the youth in our coalition. So I think we would have seen progress in this area and continue to do this, including people from all walks of life, and then empowering them with trainings or coaching or something that would help them want to be a part of this cause for a long time. You know, what I said with my team of Marcy on Team 9, for what it feels like was it feels and looks like synergy, like building long-lasting partnerships that will make a permanent difference in the community, and agency, like seeing that I shared my ideas and then I see them start happening around me. That is really something that will keep the volunteers coming back and not having burnout, is like creative expression.
Tom, I see your hand up. Last comment, then we need to move on. Go for it.
Yeah, I think we share power through the individuals and the organizations that are involved. The biggest concern for me that I see sometimes is, how do we share that power to the individuals in the community as well? How do we get them more involved? How do we go out and we talk to them about what we're talking here in our communities? We have our breakout sessions here. How do we in a community, in a neighborhood, have that kind of a breakout session as well, so that it's not just the organizations or people who are involved with the organizations, but the actual community members themselves? We can do that through our flyers, and we can do that by the newspaper articles and by the media that we have on the TV. How do we sit down with these individuals, though, through town halls, in a library session? How do we do that? I think that might be one of the things, hopefully the next step that we can start taking, if we haven't already, breaking it down into the neighborhoods now. Community gardens is one of the good ways to actually do something like that, Derek. And how do we create that ambience of trust and comfort within the communities that maybe don't know who we are, what we do? I think that can be a struggle for not just some of us in the organization, but for the communities to open themselves up to that too.
All right. Thank you everyone for participating and taking the notes. We're going to consolidate, do some analysis, and come back to you next month as we continue our conversations around power sharing, equity, and justice, and what that means for the food project. So we'll pull out some themes and see if there are some changes that we're ready to decide on and make, depending on what surfaces, and things that we need to keep going and do better on. All right, let's jump into our working group update. We're going to start with economy.
So you cut out a little bit, but I'm guessing that you called on me for food economy. I'll make it quick. 2 updates, just that our food economy incubator is going really, really well. Every Tuesday is class nights, and I had the pleasure of teaching the class this week on production and working in kitchens and organization. And then the second update for food economy is we had an amazing conversation with our restaurant partners. We had about 15 people show up to our conversation earlier this week. The first time we have restaurants coming together and talking about what we can do collectively to solve problems. I haven't seen that happen in Pueblo before. So I'm very excited about what this could lead to. So great things happening in food economy. If you own a business or are concerned about workforce or any economic dynamics of the food system, please join us the 3rd Tuesday of every month.
Next on the list, Dr. Kelly, food, farm literacy, and education.
Hi, everyone. We had a great talk this month about the Pueblo Art Show that will be coming up as our 2nd annual event. And the time frame has been pushed out to maybe May for our goal for that. And we're hoping to host in April event that would invite community members to create art together. And so we'll be looking to get more art submissions and continue to do outreach for our setup that will be at Mineral Palace Park there with the Pueblo Art Guild. We also will be helping people with their entry fees again as needed. That way everyone can be involved no matter their circumstances. And we'll be continuing to workshop that and the recipe outreach that we're doing with families. So just last Saturday, we had a successful event with the Rocky Mountain SARE kitchen there on Lake, and it was a tamale making workshop. So we have so many people interested in this life skill that there's a waiting list. And we will continue hosting that exact event again, as well as other types of recipes. And then just a quick update on farm to school movement that we have a continued working towards the hydroponic towers going into the schools. And maybe in the next month or two, we'll have some images to share.
All right, thank you. Lindy, Access.
Okay, hola, soy Lindy, voy a dar el
Hi, I'm Lindy, and I'll be giving the
acceso a comida.
food access update.
Continuamos platicando sobre los videos que
So we
hicimos
continue talking about the videos that we in the community created about
acceso a comida.
food access programs.
Las personas que asistieron a esta reunión,
The people who attended this meeting, we shared our videos through social media
con diferentes organizaciones y cada persona tiene
with different organizations, and each person has about 2 or 3
contactos que van a hacer para asegurar
contacts that they'll be making to ensure that they're aware of the videos and how to be able to share them with the entire community.
Estamos emocionados porque el farmers market
We're very excited because the farmers market will
continuar este año en Mineral Palace Park.
will be continuing this year at Mineral Palace Park, and
Para recibir SNAP.
they are approved to receive SNAP and WIC payments. So there's a lot of opportunities that are existing for our communities and individuals with those food benefits in order to access our local food and products, as well as other resources found in the market.
Y seguimos nuestra conversación sobre
And we continue having our conversation about to be, an ambassador program for EFP. So individuals who can go, like Tom mentioned, to different regions of Pueblo to talk with and to hear the stories of individuals who are not here right in the Zoom meeting. So what details do we need to focus on before starting, this kind of program? And that'll be it. That's all.
All right, thank you. We did not have an environment meeting this month because we're changing the style of meeting. So back on next month with that. For advocacy, we talked about our regional convening that's taking place on Friday. And I'll share a little bit more about that in a bit. We also talked about our policy boot camp. So this is a conversation that we've been having for the last few months, and it is now here. Signups are open. The registration is going to get dropped in the chat right now by Megan. The flyer is linked in the agenda. This is a 3-part policy boot camp. Anyone and everyone who's interested in becoming a food systems advocate for our community should participate in this workshop. The workshop will be offered in English and Spanish. we'll have in-person or virtual options for the first and the last, but one full day in person with a consultant flying in from Minnesota, paid for by the Colorado Health Foundation. So this is a really cool opportunity for our group to take it to the next level in terms of our advocacy. So I'm hoping that folks are excited to participate. Let's see. Next on the list, Megan mentioned, actually, Derek, you're next on the list.
Thank you very much, Monique. My name is Derek, and I'm the coordinator for the Community Garden Sustainability Project. We've gotten started in the last 2 months with getting organized and getting going. For those of you who do not know what we are or what we do, the Community Garden Sustainability Project is a project that aims to help the community gardens in town become more sustainable. And also, we are in the process of creating 2 brand new gardens in the Pueblo community. So I'm going to post a link in the chat for some more information, including an About Us page that will tell you much more information, as well as a link to sign up to volunteer to help us out with some of the work that needs to be done, such as weeding and watering and cleaning up the garden in April. And when the time comes, harvesting some of the lovely groceries. So thank you very much. And that's my update.
All right, thank you. Very quickly on the Fujikits, I hope many of you saw their story in the newspaper. Once again, year 2, Fruits of Love was a big success. They got coverage in the newspaper and by the district. Short version, long story, 500 fruit baskets, 2 elementary schools. Every student in the elementary school got to take home fruit instead of candy for Valentine's Day. This is an idea they conceived, and yeah, they did great. Next up for the Fujikits is an alternative cookie workshop. I think we're going back and forth. Is it alternative cookie? Is it punk cookie? We don't know, but essentially taking some cookie classics and doing them in a healthy way, a GF way, a vegan way, a no bake way. So yeah, they're pulling all of those recipes together now. And I'll kick it over to Megan to talk about March events.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So we have a few events. Monique just mentioned one of them. But first up, we'll have the AFFA and COVID meeting. I think we should pick a new name for this, so we don't have to just keep combining both, but that will be next week on the 1st. Next week on Friday, we will be packing homeless meal bags. So the goal is 2,000 bags. We'll need volunteers for that. So if you're interested, drop it in the chat, and I'll reach out to you when we'll need volunteers on that day. So next Friday, that's next Friday. Monique just mentioned the policy boot camp. You can sign up with the link that I had put into the chat. And I think it's been sent out already. So if you need it, just email me and I'll give it to you. But it's in the chat right now. Working groups this month are during the week of the 14th. So the 15th, 16th, and 17th will be those 3 days that we have working group meetings. And the Fuji Kids Healthy Cookie Workshop will be on March 11th. And then this is the first quarter. Our last meeting of every quarter is going to be in person. So we'll have a question here in a little bit about kind of how we want to do this, but we will have a potluck for our meeting, our all hands meeting next month. And then I'm next on the agenda as well. So I'm gonna introduce you guys a little bit briefly to the entrepreneurs that we have in the entrepreneur program. We have some really awesome people who are doing some awesome businesses. We have some brand new concepts and people who have really developed concepts and producers. So Alan is a producer. He raises garlic and pigs. Allison, who is in this meeting, I think right now, is raises poultry and has some really fun ideas for what she wants to do with that. Amber has a fire cider, which is a healthy drink. That's supposed to be really great. I've heard nothing but like really incredible things about it. So that's cool. Chris is opening a restaurant within the Fuel and Iron building. So he'll have one of those concepts. Deborah is also a producer, planning on doing a few different things with her grow, but wants to focus on veterans. Jocelyn owns a meal delivery program in a food truck. So she has been in business for a long time. She really wants to up what she's doing. So she's pretty far along, a really awesome person to have in this program. Kennedy has a new concept that he wants to start working on, which is one restaurant that has world cuisine, and then another that is a CPG product that will be packaged barbecue stuff so that you can make really good barbecue at your house. And Melissa's also producer with the idea of being a mobile distributor to different areas of Pueblo so that you can help close the food desert gap. Melanie is she works on the Excelsior Tortilla project, so she wants to do traditional tortillas, and she's the manager of the Excelsior Commercial Kitchen, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. A couple more, Shaylin makes soap and other bath products. Teresa wants to open a restaurant that has like different Southern food. I heard her talking about crocodile once. I was like, that's cool. I don't know if I'll eat it, but super cool, really cool. She's an awesome cook. And Tiffany has wants to open a bakery. And she brought in empanadas one day and they were absolutely delicious. So this is all of our entrepreneurs, and they're doing awesome. They're loving the program, which is really exciting. And we're about 7 weeks in, and they'll be done around May. And hopefully you'll get to start using their products and seeing them around here soon.
All right, thank you. Okay, this is the point in the meeting where I start speaking very quickly. The annual report is linked in the agenda. If you haven't seen it yet, please do take a look at it. If you have folks who have questions about the Pueblo Food Project, pass along that link. If you're hosting an event and you want printed copies there, let us know. We will make that happen. We are super excited. This is the first annual report we've ever had. And I think we're starting off on the right foot. So appreciate you sharing that out to your networks and again, raising the awareness around Pueblo Food Project. Next on the list, we have our regional convening on Friday. We have about 60 people confirmed for that event across 3 stakeholder groups: producers, food systems workers, and students. The registration for that is now closed. We'll be hosting work session conversations within each of those stakeholder groups, and then doing some cross collab debrief sessions after. Really unique feature of the student group, they will be doing embodied practiced work with some exercises from Theater of the Oppressed, where essentially you put yourself in the position of another through acting and body movement to come to conversations of what could have been done differently, and then create solutions from there. So very excited that our young people are doing something new and different, and yeah, we'll be very interested to see how that turns out and how it influences the adults as well. Lastly, on a couple more things. Same Cafe. I think Mark is on the line, but some of you have heard by now that we got the green light from the Same Cafe Board of Directors in Denver to pursue opening a Same Cafe Pueblo. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we'll slide a spot on the agenda next month for asks from PFP as we develop the strategy on how we're going to make this happen. Short version, long story, one word: fundraising. So now that we have the green light to open the bank account, we got to put some money in it. And yeah, that's going to be the focus. But lots of great things are falling into place in terms of community support for that. So I'm feeling hopeful. And this is a big one, y'all. This was one of the key goals on our strategic priorities for the Colorado Health Foundation grant. And yeah, it's really significant for the group. So in terms of those lasting long-term moves, this would definitely be one of them. Lastly, you remember that we all voted last month on whether or not the Pueblo Food Project should invest dollars to send PFP coalition members to events. We put that call out in our newsletter. The Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association annual meeting is happening February 28th. It's a big conference. In fact, it's the biggest gathering of Colorado fruit and vegetable growers in the state. And guess how many people have responded to our email and said that they want to go to the conference? 0. So we are putting it out there again that if you want to go to the Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association meeting and represent the Pueblo Food Project and participate as yourself as well, please reach out to us. We will cover your ticket. We will try and work out a hotel. We'll try and work out gas money or a ride. Up to 4 people can participate, as well as 1 staff, and it will very likely be Megan. So please take us up on the offer. The money's there. We all voted on it. Y'all said it was a good idea. So please, utilize the opportunity if you can fit it in your schedule. All right. I think I have made it through all of the things that we hope to cover today. So we have 4 minutes left. Yep, Mike, definitely. Mike will be there. He will be the best introducer possible. It's taking place in Denver in real life. So if folks want to go, like I said, we'll figure out ticket, hotel, ride, meals. So, if you can make the time, definitely consider it. And yeah, with 4 minutes left in the meeting, would love to open it up for community announcements and appreciations. Please email Megan if you want to go to the event. That was the request, and we need to track it that way. All right, community announcements and appreciations in our last 3 minutes.
I dropped a link in the chat a few minutes ago for today's food bill action team meeting from noon to 12:30. There's a link to the agenda, and then a little blurb on the top 3 things that are going to be covered. So please attend, it's critical.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcy. Yep, Farm Bill right around the corner, comes quicker than you think. Velma.
Hi, actually, I do want to say something, but Mark had his hand up before me if it's still up.
Okay, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. You were mentioning PFP and the need, or Send Cafe and the need for fundraising. I'm currently working on the actuals budget. Just want to toss out to the group that right now, as it stands, it's my goal and priority to raise approximately $500,000. That's going to get the doors open for the first year. Beyond that, operation expenses are projected around $250,000. Right now, we're working on some grant funding, but a large lift is going to be coming from individual donors as well as businesses. Not to mention the fact that we will need a steady stream of committed volunteers throughout the process once doors are open, and even to get the doors open. So just want to toss that out to everybody, in terms of like a goal that is set, and I really need everyone's and I welcome everyone's contributions and feedback as to who I can be having conversations with that would love to contribute. So that's all I wanted to share. Thank you, everybody. I'm really excited to continue to be part of this group.
Right. Who has an appreciation for us? Velma, go for it.
Oh, excuse me. My the weather has me all kind of hoarse. I just wanted to say to everybody, that Mothers Out Front is meeting this afternoon. Where, as everybody knows, climate and air quality impact our ability to produce food and the health of our community. So we'll be meeting this afternoon with our regular meeting at 5:30. We'll be talking about climate impacts and air quality and the application that we're putting in with Pueblo Department of Public Health and Environment for air monitoring grant with EPA through the ARPA funds. And we really could use a lot of community input for things like monitor locations, what pollutants are we concerned about, and it's a great opportunity for our like many environmental justice communities. We have not had we've been shortchanged on monitoring, so we have not had sufficient monitoring to really be able to document our air quality, even though there are times when we can clearly see what we're breathing. So I look forward to that, and I welcome all the support. I put the meeting link in the chat as well as my email if anybody has any questions. And if you can't come today, please feel free to email me and chat about it.
All right. I'm going to throw out a double appreciation for, I don't know if you're a Tamara or a Tamara or some other version. Which one is it?
Tamara.
Tamara. And I don't know if you're a Brianna or a Brianna.
Brianna.
All right. Tamara and Brianna, double shout out to the both of you for participating in the meeting today and speaking up, being newer members to the group and just having your voice be heard. We really appreciate it, and I welcome you and thank you for being here. Okay, we go for it, Tom. We're at 10:01.
Just a quick shout out to Marcy and everything that she does, all of the hats that she has on. Sometimes she almost looks like she's a coat rack. So good job, Marcy.
All right. Yes, appreciate that shout out. Okay, 10:01. You know how I feel about time. I wish you the best rest of your day. May you stay warm. May you drive slow if you're driving at all. And we will catch you out there or in the next meeting. Thank you so much for being here.
And if you want to request economic hardship, it's in the agenda.
Dang it. Economic hardship link in the agenda as well as feedback survey. Megan, jump in there. Got to get that announcement in before they start leaving. Yes, feedback survey in the chat as well as the economic hardship policy. Don't hesitate to use those funds. That's what they're there for. All right, now, peace. See you next time.